If you clicked on this video, you've probably watched so much fat loss content and they all revolve around the same thing. Eat less, be in a caloric deficit, and we all know where that ends. Be hungry and suffer. However, what if I told you that there are certain foods that make fat loss feel so effortless? They make staying in a caloric deficit dramatically easier by working with your body's normal biology. And in this video, I'm literally going to be telling you how to hack your body's biology. And you already know, no time wasted. Let's run it. Let's go. Let's go. Sub to the channel, follow on every social media platform. I promise you, that game is about to be dropped, and this is going to change your life. Foods I'm going to be telling you in this video is very, very special because they work like Ozempic. And I know that Ozempic is popular and Reta is also popular as well. So these drugs became popular because they make people feel fuller for longer. So you realize that people can go days and hours without eating. And the interesting thing I'm going to be telling you about the foods in this video is they work the exact same way. And it's even going to be surprising that some of them even do a better job. And I know I've already teased the foods enough, so the first food that makes the fat loss game change for the best is bitter lemon. And this is quite interesting because it's a very unusual vegetable. Now, I know you're probably looking at this bitter lemon, you're like, I'm not the one who's going to be eating that. But just hold up, relax. Now, one thing that this bitter lemon really does is, earlier in the video, I know I talked to you about Ozempic. And the thing is, Ozempic would typically bind to a receptor called GLP-1. But with this bitter lemon, what it actually does is it goes to stimulate the production of GLP. And in simple English, it simply means that this literally signals to your body that you should be fuller for longer. So it taps into your body's natural appetite communication system. This food literally tells your brain you don't need to be hungry. And that's the reason why I'm literally excited to tell you guys. Now, the question, as I said, was, I know you're looking at this video and you're like, how the heck is this stuff going to get into my belly? However, I'm going to tell you how to prepare it for you to actually start getting that fat loss gains. How to use it is you want to stir fry it with some garlic because, as the name implies, you're going to be tasting a very bitter taste. So when you fry it with garlic, it's going to reduce that taste, and saute it as well. Now, I also want you to start adding it to probably like soups, to broths. This will make it very, very easy. I know that this is something I didn't put right here, but you can also buy a supplement version of it. So you just take in a supplement capsule and it's literally in your system, working its magic. Now, the second food is the one that no one talks about. And the crazy thing is, this is a food that has been so demonized, and it is potatoes. I know you know potatoes. I'm going to be telling you something quite interesting. I literally did my research on this, and it was quite surprising. Potatoes, even though they have been demonized in the fitness industry that carbs are bad, potatoes is a very, very crazy food source because it's not just only just eating potatoes. You need to eat a certain type or a certain kind, and the potatoes you're going to be eating is cold potatoes. Typically, whenever you eat or whenever you boil potatoes, let's say in the hot version, I realized that there was a study conducted that those people who ate potatoes when it was hot, they easily digested the potatoes. So you eating cold potatoes, unlike the regular hot ones that was pretty much made a few minutes ago, you eating this, it produces resistant starch. This resistant starch will have to travel deep into your system because starch is a very complex molecule. It releases a compound that improves your satiety and it lowers your blood sugar. So when you're eating your potatoes now, I don't want you to just be eating the regular hot ones. I want you to be eating cold ones. And this is going to change your fat loss game. Let's stop this demonizing carbs. Another underrated food for fat loss is barley. Yes, you heard me right. And this is rich in a substance called beta glucan. In simple English, it is pretty much a fiber that forms a gel substance in your digestive tract. The whole goals for every single one of these foods is it suppresses hunger. Typically, whenever you eat sugar, what happens is that, let's say you eat a junk food that doesn't have fiber, it just goes straight to your bloodstream. However, when you have food that has fiber, which typically is like fruits or vegetables, you realize that the fiber kind of makes it slower before it hits your bloodstream. And this is so rich in fiber. It's a very powerful fiber and it slows down your digestion. It extends the fullness. And naturally that already puts you in a caloric deficit. And as I said, you already know that I'm going to be telling you how to make these foods. So, why are we going to be doing it? We're going to be replacing this with rice. If you can, I'm going to tell you, you can replace it with rice. We're going to be putting it in the soups, putting it in bowls. Also add the barley to stews. Yes. When you add it to stews, it's going to make it thicker. It's also going to give it more fiber. And with that said, you can also do a meal prep. And I know that most of you guys actually don't even like meal preps, but this will actually be a very, very good staple source. I know you already know this one. This is so common in almost any fat loss content. However, apple cider vinegar, yes. Now, some studies literally show that this slows the stomach emptying. Simple English, so the food is going to stay in your tummy for a longer time, and that simply means you're going to be staying fuller for longer. If the food stays more, you're going to stay fuller for longer. And it's not even a crazy miracle fat loss burner, as people even push it. But we already know that the goal would be controlling the hunger and the craving so much that you don't even have to think, and it doesn't have to be done with willpower. So how are we going to take this? We take 1 tablespoon and put it in a very large glass of water, and taking it also before meals, because when we take it before meals, we'll be slowing down the food that we're going to be digesting, and we can also stay fuller for longer. And also, this one is actually quite applicable. You can make it as a dressing. So you can mix the apple cider vinegar with things like your olive oil. I wouldn't entirely say mixing it with olive oil because olive oil is quite dense, but it's still quite good. Please, I had to say this as well. Never drink apple cider vinegar straight or raw. Please don't do that because it can damage your tooth. Chee, you already know. All right, now the fifth one is cinnamon. Yes. Now, cinnamon helps in improving your blood sugar control. And this is so important because it regulates your energy. So every energy crash, like typically, I know you've most likely had the sugar rush experience. You probably eat a sweet food or junk food and it takes you on a very crazy high and the crash is so massive. This cinnamon, it stabilizes your energy and it prevents the energy crashes. When your energy crashes decreases, you already know that cravings will also decrease as well. You can add cinnamon in the Greek yogurt, just a sprinkle on top. We can also add cinnamon in oatmeal. Yes, I'm a big oatmeal fan, I can't lie. So while stirring, we can add in our cinnamon and we can even add a little bit into our coffees for our coffee lovers. Yes, this is a game changer. And this is probably the most easiest to actually add. My goal for every single video is for me to give you and put you on the 80-20% rule, where you can impute 20% of inputs to reap 80% of results. And with that said, we have the fat loss stack. Now, in the fat loss stack, I'm literally going to be telling you that most of these foods are not magical in themselves. The goal is to create an environment where it's so easy for you to start using less of willpower and more of a system. And this would literally just make your fat loss game just different. And with that said, like the first thing would be on your breakfast, we can have our Greek yogurts, good for probiotics, and we can add in some cinnamon. You already know that this will stabilize our energy. Now, we can do some lunch, and this doesn't even have to be even consistent. The good thing about most of these foods is they have low calories. So we can just have a small barley bowl with some lean protein. You know, I always emphasize protein. Protein is a macronutrient that your body literally burns to digest it. So let's say you eat meat or chicken, your body burns energy to actually digest protein. That's one of the reasons why it keeps you fuller for longer as well. So you can see how we're stacking every single thing to make fat loss easy on a day-to-day basis, because I'm going to be real. Most of fat loss just has to do with you just eating what you eat. We can then talk about having a snack. Here we can say the supplements. We can do a bitter lemon tea as well. I can't lie, I know this is low key. A lot of you guys are not gonna like this specific one, but you can take the supplements as well. Now, finally, we can do a lean protein. You already know the story about protein, and emphasis also would be try to aim for 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every single day. So while you try and incorporate these things, you should also know that you need to be hitting your protein, because I need you guys looking the best version of yourselves. Now, you can have this with a cold potato salad. Remember, emphasis on the cold. We can have every single time before our meals apple cider vinegar. The fat loss foods I've literally covered in this video are things I've given for you to be able to hack your appetite once and for all. I don't need you guys humping on Ozempic. I don't need you guys to even always hop on even things like Retta. Because when you have these foods, they make those supplements even pointless because you're literally hacking your body and doing the exact same thing that those things do as well. Every single one of these foods are backed up by science. So I'm just going to be doing a brief overview. The melon is going to be giving you satiety and it stimulates the exact same hormone that Ozempic does as well. The cold potato starch, what it does is it goes deep into your digestive system, and when it does that, when it's broken down eventually, it takes longer for your body to digest and keeping you fuller. Now, barley literally has a beta glucan fiber, which stays in your gut for longer. Now, apple cider vinegar, having this before every single meal, you can't sleep on that. Now, finally, the cinnamon. This is to stabilize your energy. No more energy crashes. Now, the real secret to fat loss is, genuinely speaking, this one thing. Now, I'm a big believer that those people who are more in shape than you, those people who you see as lean, you're not better than you. They're just winning simply because they've built systems to make eating less easy. I know a lot of you guys are pushing through life with so much of willpower. You're suffering through your cravings. You're telling yourself, no, I don't need to take that sugary snack. It's going to take me off my fitness journey. It's not going to take me off my weight loss journey. Nah. No, 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 no. We're not doing any of that. You can't watch this video and leave the same way. No, I refuse. And with that said, I need to give you a smarter approach. And that smarter approach is in building a system where you make hunger less powerful, where you can build a diet that literally hacks your body's biology. That was my goal for making this video. And honestly, I build systems for my clients to make them get into the best shapes of their lives. And I'm confident that I can get you the results. So if you're someone who wants the systems built for you already, done for you, and the accountability, I'm going to tell you that you should book a call with the link. And I'll personally really love to hear from you. That's the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. I want you guys to keep on improving. I want you guys to keep on putting God first. Grinding for your loved ones. Let me know what content you want me to cover on this channel. And with that said, till the next one, peace out.